Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Midnight Express channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that's reshaping how we think about well-being, connection, and even our own minds. We're talking about the rise of digital spirituality and its surprising, yet powerful, fusion with modern science and mental health care. You might be thinking, spirituality and tech? Aren't those opposites? Well, stick around, because what's happening at this intersection is truly fascinating and could change the way you approach your own mental and spiritual health. Let's start with something you probably have in your pocket right now, your smartphone. For many, especially younger generations, this little device has become a gateway to spiritual practice. We have meditation apps like Headspace or Calm that guide us through mindfulness exercises with just a few taps. There are digital journaling apps with daily prompts that encourage us to reflect, express gratitude, or work through complex emotions. Some services even send you spiritual check-ins via text message, offering a small moment of peace or a thought-provoking question in the middle of a hectic day. What's really key here is that these tools are detaching spirituality from traditional institutions. For many young people, spirituality isn't about attending a specific church, temple, or mosque. It's a deeply personal, flexible, and self-directed journey. It's about finding what resonates with you, on your own terms and on your own schedule. Digital tools fit this model perfectly. They offer accessibility, privacy, and a sense of control that traditional structures sometimes lack. You can explore different forms of meditation, from Buddhist-inspired mindfulness to guided visualizations, without ever leaving your home. You can connect with online communities of like-minded people from all over the world, sharing experiences and support. This isn't a replacement for community, but rather a new supplementary form of it. It's spirituality that meets you where you are, quite literally. This shift represents a broader cultural trend, the individualization of belief systems. People are curating their own spiritual paths, pulling from various traditions and philosophies to create something that feels authentic to them. And technology is the great enabler of this movement, providing the resources and platforms for this exploration to happen. Now, this digital evolution of spirituality isn't just a personal wellness trend. It's making serious waves in a field you might not expect, clinical mental health care. For a long time, science and spirituality were seen as occupying separate, often conflicting worlds. The world of the soul was left to faith leaders, while the world of the mind was left to therapists and doctors. But that wall is starting to crumble, and for good reason. Clinicians are now increasingly recognizing that a person's spiritual or existential beliefs are a core part of their identity and well-being. Ignoring them means you're not treating the whole person. As a result, we're seeing the rise of spiritual care assessments in clinical settings. This is basically a way for a therapist or doctor to respectfully ask about a patient's spiritual needs, beliefs, or struggles. It's not about imposing any particular belief system, but about understanding what gives a person's life meaning, purpose, and hope. If a patient expresses unmet spiritual needs, maybe they're questioning their faith after a tragedy, feel disconnected from a sense of purpose, a clinician can then collaborate with a certified spiritual guide. This creates a holistic care team. The therapist addresses the psychological symptoms, while the spiritual guide helps the person navigate the existential questions. This integrated approach is proving to be incredibly effective. A growing body of research shows that when spirituality is thoughtfully and ethically incorporated into therapy, patients often experience a significant decrease in anxiety, depression, and stress. It can also lead to a greater sense of peace and an improved overall quality of life. It makes perfect sense when you think about it. If someone is grappling with big questions about life, death, and meaning, simply treating their anxiety with medication or cognitive behavioral therapy alone might feel incomplete. Addressing the spiritual dimension provides another powerful layer of support and healing. Of course, to bring spirituality into a scientific field like mental health, you need more than just good intentions. You need evidence and a solid framework. And that's exactly what researchers are working on right now. They're developing evidence-based models that explain how and why spiritual practices can be so beneficial for our mental health. This isn't about proving the existence of a higher power. It's about studying the tangible, observable effects of spiritual practices on the human brain and behavior. These frameworks are helping to legitimize spirituality as a valid component of holistic care. They break down spiritual practices into understandable mechanisms. For example, they look at mindfulness, being present and fully aware, which is a core component of many spiritual traditions. We now have countless studies showing how mindfulness practice can calm the nervous system, reduce rumination, and improve focus. They also study the power of ritual. Rituals, whether it's a daily prayer, a morning meditation, or a gratitude practice, provide structure, stability, and a sense of control in a chaotic world. They create a sacred space and time for reflection, which is incredibly grounding. Another key mechanism is meaning-making. Spirituality often helps people create a narrative or a framework to understand their life experiences, especially the difficult ones. Finding meaning in suffering can be a powerful catalyst for post-traumatic growth. By identifying these specific mechanisms, researchers can show that spirituality isn't just some vague, mystical concept. It involves concrete practices that have measurable psychological benefits. At the same time, these frameworks are also crucial for identifying potential harms. Spirituality can be a source of immense comfort, but if misapplied, or if it comes from a high-control group, it can also be a source of shame, guilt, or psychological distress. Having a clear, evidence-based framework helps clinicians navigate these complexities ethically and effectively, ensuring that the integration of spirituality is always supportive and never harmful to the patient. So, what does all of this mean for the bigger picture? It means we're moving beyond the old tired debate of spirituality versus science. That's a 20th century argument. The new 21st century conversation is about spirituality merging with science. It's a fusion of soul and science. This shift is redefining what it even means to be healthy. For a long time, health was defined simply as the absence of illness. If you didn't have a diagnosed disease, you were considered healthy. But we're now moving toward a more expansive and holistic definition of healing. Healing is being redefined as the alignment of mind, body, and soul. It's about more than just getting rid of symptoms. It's about cultivating a life of meaning, connection, and inner peace. This new paradigm recognizes that we are complex beings. Our mental health is tied to our physical health. Our physical health is influenced by our emotional state, and all of it is interwoven with our spiritual well-being, our sense of purpose, our connection to something larger than ourselves, and our core values. You can't neatly separate these parts of yourself. When you're spiritually disconnected or struggling with existential questions, it can manifest as anxiety or depression. When you're chronically stressed, it can lead to physical illness. The soul and science fusion acknowledges this deep interconnection. It uses scientific tools to understand and validate the ancient wisdom found in spiritual traditions. It brings a new level of rigor and understanding to practices that humans have used for millennia to find comfort and meaning. And it enriches the practice of medicine and therapy by reminding us that healing the human spirit is just as important as healing the human body. This is an incredibly exciting time. We're witnessing the birth of a more integrated, compassionate, and effective approach to human well-being. It's an approach that honors both the data-driven rigor of science and the profound, unquantifiable mystery of the human soul. Whether you find your spiritual connection through a meditation app, in a quiet moment of prayer, through community service, or in a therapy session that honors your beliefs, what matters is that you're tending to all parts of yourself. You are a whole person, and true wellness comes from nurturing that wholeness. Thank you so much for joining me for this deep dive today. I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on this. How do you see technology and spirituality intersecting in your own life? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content exploring the fascinating intersection of science, spirituality, and well-being. I'll see you in the next one. It is done.